While we're all aware of Captain America's history with the super soldier serum, there are many other characters who have been injected with this infamous serum. Whether taken willingly or unwillingly, the super soldier serum enables its users to gain immense strength and power. It was created by the Nazi scientist Abraham Erskine in February 1941, and it has been used by Bucky Barnes, Hulk, Scarlet Witch, and Peggy Carter, among others. Today we will look at every single character who has taken the super soldier serum and tell you all about them. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. What is the super soldier serum and how was it created? The super soldier serum was essentially a formula used to create super soldiers out of regular human beings. Consumption of the serum triggered mutations in the human body and enhanced one's strength, and there have been several variants of this serum in the history of Marvel Comics so far. It originated in Nazi Germany in 1941 when Dr. Abraham Erskine and Professor Erich Schmidt hoped to experiment on John Steele's body, which was kept in stasis in a lab. While this mission did not give the best results, it helped Dr. Erskine expand his knowledge, and he then moved to America with some help from Nick Fury. However, the Red Skull soon located him, targeted Schmidt, and took him to a concentration camp. Schmidt then realized he had no hope for survival and handed the super soldier formula to Brian Falsworth. Falsworth ended up consuming the serum, and he immediately underwent a transformation that made him so powerful that he broke out of prison. Wilhelm Lohmer was later injected with a Nazi version of the super soldier serum, which was derived from the same serum given to Captain America. In the United States, Dr. Erskine created the super soldier serum as part of the secret Operation Rebirth program. Captain America. After Erskine successfully created the serum, Steve Rogers became the very first recipient of it in the United States. He was selected by General Chester Phillips to undergo testing that deemed him fit for the procedure, and he was soon administered the serum. In this process, he was given a portion of the serum intravenously and the rest was given orally. After this, his body was bombarded with exotic wavelengths of radiation known as Vita rays that accelerated the serum's effect on his body. The entire procedure was a huge success, and Steve Rogers emerged from it an enhanced body that could only be described as perfect. Dr. Erskine was killed by a Nazi spy hardly minutes after the procedure, and Steve Rogers then became the first and only person to benefit from this formula. Besides gaining an enhanced body, he became taller and more muscular, gained enhanced reflexes, quick healing, and the ability to run faster than an average human. He started calling himself Captain America and wore his signature red, white, and blue uniform during performances across the country. While he did not step on the battlefield initially, he finally took part in combat to save his best friend Bucky Barnes. Captain America was later frozen in ice for around 70 years before he woke up and joined the Avengers. Bucky Barnes. Also known as the Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes was initially a war prisoner during World War II. In an unfortunate series of events, Bucky got caught in the midst of a Hydra experiment carried out by Arnim Zola. After a few experiments, it was believed that Bucky had died after falling from a train, but Zola soon uncovered the truth and located Bucky. While Bucky survived the fall, he lost an arm, and Zola gave him a vibranium arm to compensate for his disability. Moreover, Zola administered the super soldier serum to Bucky to help him heal faster, marking his transformation into the Winter Soldier. Hydra had managed to brainwash Bucky into working for them, and he spent several years in their service until he came across Steve Rogers and regained his memory. He initially had a hard time letting go of his Hydra programming, but Wakanda's programming helped him free himself from the clutches of Hydra. He soon becomes a free man, and the events of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier cover this story arc as he overcomes his Hydra programming and discovers himself. Red Skull. Also known as Johann Schmidt, Red Skull was Dr. Erskine's first test subject for the super soldier serum research. He was tasked with the responsibility of overseeing the research while working at Hydra, and he soon came across the serum and believed that it would solve all his problems. His desire to attain super strength compelled him to make rash decisions, and he forced Erskine to administer the serum to him even though it was not ready yet. Despite being fully aware that the serum's formula was not perfect, Red Skull asked Erskine to hand him him an early version of the serum and he injected it into himself. While the serum gave him super strength and helped him in his mission to attain the Tesseract, it came with many side effects. These side effects caused him to lose all his hair and his skin turned red. Moreover, his face started deforming into a skull and his human face soon turned into a red skull, which is where he got his name from. Emil Blonsky, Abomination. While Abomination has recently appeared in She-Hulk, not many fans are aware that he was once a special ops commander known as Emil Blonsky. Blonsky was getting older at his job, and he then agreed to use the serum to enhance his body and give it a boost. General Thunderbolt Ross assisted Blonsky in this experiment and injected him with a subpar replica of Erskine's original serum. Soon after, Emil gained a number of superhuman abilities, but he was not satisfied with them and he sought to pair these abilities with gamma radiation to become more powerful. During this process, Emil turned into a brutal and aggressive entity known as Abomination, who was a match for the Hulk at first. However, the Hulk nearly killed him at the end of their first encounter, and Abomination disappeared from the scene for a long time. He was recently spotted in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, where he is seen fighting in a tournament. He later attempts to exert control over his Abomination persona and seeks She-Hulk's help to prove his innocence and deal with his parole proceedings. John Walker. John Walker was appointed as the new Captain America after Sam Wilson handed his shield to him, but Walker started out as a modern-day war hero. His story arc was extensively covered in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it was initially just a soldier with a thirst for power and control. He ended up stumbling upon a vial of super soldier serum that Baron Zemo had misplaced while destroying the rest, and Walker then took it upon himself to consume the vial's contents. He soon gained enhanced physical abilities, and he put them to use to attack the Flag Smashers and killed them. He later cornered Bucky and Sam and tried to kill them too, but the two heroes came together to overpower Walker and break his arm. While Walker gained immense strength and power after using this super soldier serum, he initially did not use it for the good of society. However, the final episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier portrayed him in a new light, as John took up an opportunity to use his powers for the better by working alongside the MCU's Thunderbolts. Brian Falsworth, Destroyer. After the Nazis imprisoned Professor Eric Schmidt, he realized that he wouldn't survive for long and he handed a flask of his super soldier formula to Brian Falsworth. Falsworth promised to keep it safe from the Nazis and he took the flask and drank all of the serum. This immediately triggered a physical transformation and Brian turned into a super soldier with an enhanced body. He managed to break out of prison and became the costume fighter of the Nazis. He then started going by the name Destroyer, but this is just one of his aliases, and he is currently known as Union Jack. Red Guardian. While Erskine had successfully created a super soldier serum in America, other countries also strived to develop a formula to help them produce super soldiers. Among these countries, Russia took an interest in this agenda, and Alexei Shostakov is the only super soldier who has emerged from these experiments. Portrayed by David Harbour in Black Widow, Alexei Shostakov was the only confirmed super soldier in Russia, but his origins are still shrouded in mystery. He does have supernatural powers and incredible strength, and he goes by the name the Red Guardian. Shostakov has also displayed his strength on numerous occasions, and in one such instance, he flipped a tank with his bare hands to make a path for a plane. Sadly, he was imprisoned for a very long time due to the nature of his powers, and he has not had many opportunities to showcase his abilities. Recently, the Red Guardian has been freed once again, and we hope to see more of his origins and backstory with the serum in the upcoming Marvel content. Bruce Banner, Hulk. While many characters have injected themselves with the super serum or ingested it orally, Bruce Banner had quite a unique experience with the serum. He was one of the best minds in biochemistry and gamma radiation, and General Thunderbolt somehow convinced him to create a replica of the original super soldier serum. Typically, Abraham Erskine's super soldier serum was supposed to be followed by exposure to Vita rays to ensure that the procedure worked. However, Bruce Banner used gamma energy instead of Vita rays as he hoped that this would make him more more powerful. As we know, this was not the best idea, and it ended up creating his monstrous alter ego, the Hulk. The Hulk was taller and much more powerful than any other super soldier created with the help of the serum. He was an unstoppable force of nature, and he surpassed all other super soldiers in terms of physique, strength, and aggression. His healing factor was also quite commendable, but he had his own faults, and he especially had difficulty controlling his emotions and keeping calm. At some point, Bruce Banner did find a solution to this and learned to balance both his personalities. Isaiah Bradley. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier has introduced us to several characters that turned into super soldiers, and Isaiah Bradley is one of these. His story dates back to the 1950s when the US government started experimenting on black soldiers in an attempt to create a replica of Erskine's super soldier serum. Isaiah Bradley turned out to be the only successful candidate in this program, and he then became known as the original Black Captain America. Isaiah gained several powers and abilities, but could not enjoy this position for long, and he was wrongfully framed for treason. He faked his death and disappeared from the public eye until Bucky introduced him to Sam and ensured that Isaiah's story was added to the Captain America exhibit. The Flag Smashers. Led by Karli Morgenthau, the Flag Smashers were a team of anti-nationalists made up of super soldiers. The team consisted of members such as Matthias, Nico, Gigi, Didi, Diego, Dovich, and Lennox. All of them were given a version of the super soldier funded by the Power Broker and created by scientist Wilfred Nagel. The Flag Smashers' powers were greatly enhanced due to this serum, which surprisingly did not age its users and left their physical appearance untouched. While this was a great advantage, the Flag Smashers eventually suffered several losses over the course of their story arc. Matthias ended up sacrificing his life to help the others escape during the events of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Nico was later killed by John Walker, and all the other surviving super soldiers died as a result of Baron Zemo's plan after a failed attack on the GRC. Karli Morgenthau. Karli Morgenthau received quite a unique version of the super soldier serum as explored in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. The Power Broker was responsible for this version of the serum, which had some advantages over the original version. To begin with, the serum gave her super strength and several advanced physical abilities without changing her physical appearance. In this way, she did not undergo any growth spurts or grow huge muscles, and this helped her blend in the crowd and sneak up on her opponents when they least expected her. Karli mostly used these powers to help the people who were displaced after the blip was reversed. She had made up her mind to use the serum's powers for good, but she eventually realized that she could not restore everything. She started compromising on her beliefs to get her way, but she soon died at the hands of Sharon Carter. Karli's death was one of the many crucial events in the finale of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we learned that she was killed by Sharon after she learned that Sharon was the Power Broker. Dr. Mindbubble. Horace Littleton, also known as Dr. Mindbubble, was a funded scientist who worked as a part of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s Weapon Minus program in the 60s. He was trying to create a hybrid version of the super soldier serum in an attempt to find a way to perform human assassinations, and he eventually developed an LSD-based version of the serum. It goes without saying that his decisions led him to lose all funding for his experiment, and he had no humans to test his serum on. In a moment of desperation, Dr. Littleton tested the serum on himself, and he soon took the form of his alias, Dr. Mindbubble. In this form, he had the ability to generate several bubbles that could trap his opponent's mind, and then create a virtual reality that tricks his enemies into thinking that they are living inside these illusions. These trapped individuals could only escape their bubbles by committing a virtual suicide within the bubble. Mindbubble's twisted actions finally cost him his life as he was taken away and put into complete isolation at a prison in the Grand Canyon. Yelena Belova and Natasha Romanoff. In Marvel Comics, the Red Room and the entire Black Widow program makes use of a milder version of the super soldier serum. While the Marvel Cinematic Universe does not explore this in great detail, a lot of signs suggest that these women, including Yelena Belova and Natasha Romanoff, were subjected to an augmented version of the serum. Yelena grew up in the Red Room among several other Black Widow assassins until she finally managed to use her skills to break out of the place. She was skilled at hand-to-hand combat, and she had survived several deadly fights, car crashes, and falls from great heights for her to be only human. It is suggested that the super serum may have given her enhanced strength and endurance, but this is merely speculation. Natasha Romanoff was easily one of the most seasoned assassins that has emerged from the Red Room, and she has proven her skills time and again. Eventually, Natasha left her murky past behind to join the Avengers, and at one point she returned to kill Dreykov and blow the Red Room up. While there is no concrete proof of the Black Widows being subjected to this serum, serum, it should be noted that Dreykov, the leader of the entire Red Room program, had tie-ups with Alexei Shostakov, who could easily get him serum supplies. It also makes sense that Dreykov would use this serum on the women he had been torturing, as it would have only benefited him if they have grown stronger.
What are you doing? This is our only chance. Now!
Stark, don't do this.
Peggy Carter from the What If universe. The What If universe introduced us to a super soldier version of Peggy Carter who went by the name Captain Carter. In this universe, Peggy took Steve Rogers' place as the first person to receive Abraham Erskine's super soldier serum. While this was not intended, it so happened that Peggy was in the room when the experiment started, and she then jumped in and exposed herself to this super soldier serum. Peggy was much healthier than Steve Rogers before his experiment, which was a key reason why Peggy's Captain Carter was a lot more powerful than Captain America in the mainstream universe. She typically wore a Union Jack-themed uniform, and her preferred form of weapon was a shield, just like Captain America. In this alternate universe, Howard Stark created a powerful suit of armor for Steve Rogers, who then aided Peggy Carter and the others in their fight against the legs of Shuma Gorath.
Sorcerer Supreme, who hereby...
Captain Carter from the What If universe. Following up on Peggy Carter's story arc in the What If universe, a live-action version known as Captain Carter was introduced in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It is a treat to see that Marvel is utilizing the multiverse storylines to actually present their characters in a new light. And this version of Captain Carter is a super soldier. She appears on Earth 838 as a member of the Illuminati, and she first appeared in the film's trailer where she fights Scarlet Witch. While Peggy Carter did well for herself in the What If universe, Captain Carter's super soldier self was unable to put up a good fight. She was defeated by Wanda in the blink of an eye alongside the rest of the Illuminati, and it is safe to say that her super soldier version did not wield much power. Other Winter Soldiers, not Bucky. Besides Bucky, Hydra had performed experiments on several other assassins during the period from the 1990s to the 2000s, and successfully programmed them to carry out missions for them. Several flashbacks in Captain America Civil War show that Hydra trained many assassins and administered a different version of the super soldier serum to these recruits. All these characters could also be referred to as Winter Soldiers, but they were not as efficient as Bucky Barnes. It so happened that these Winter Soldiers rioted against Hydra, and they were eventually put on ice. Several years later, Baron Zemo tracked the location of these fallen soldiers and killed every last one of them to ensure that they didn't come back and unleash terror upon the world. Taskmaster. Anthony Masters, or Taskmaster, was one of the best agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and he once went on a mission to get rid of a 10-ring cell responsible for creating experimental versions of the super soldier serum. While Anthony successfully broke into their facility and injured many soldiers, he was shot just before he reached the center, and his only chance at survival was the serum. Left with no choice, Anthony injected himself with this experimental super soldier serum and gained superhuman senses. While most super soldiers gained strength, Taskmaster gained enhanced senses, and he could detect any incoming attack and counter them appropriately. He gained photographic reflexes, meaning he could observe and retain information on any attack or physical movement, and then easily replicate it. He usually uses this ability to learn complex gymnastic routines and play difficult music, but it could also be used to mimic someone's voice or muscle actions down to the most minor, unnoticeable movements. He could predict his opponent's moves even before they launched into action, and he truly became a force to be reckoned with after consuming the super soldier serum. Conclusion. To sum it up, the super soldier serum has benefited an innumerable number of characters across the Marvel Universe. Whether they willingly agreed to consume the serum or stumbled upon it by accident, every last one of these characters gained unimaginable powers and strengths with its help, and the super soldier serum still continues to play a significant role in the MCU. If you like the content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.